Hello, everybody, and welcome to OpenExO Live. So great to be here this week. Today, we have Simon Knopp and Sahar with us. So excited to chat to them. And as you can see on the screen, we have a great lineup of community members who are going to be coming up in the coming weeks. And as usual, I always start OpenExO Live with a few words from our OpenExO community about the people that I'm going to be chatting to. And so let's get into that. The first one comes from Paul Epping about Sahar, and he just says, I met Sahar about 3 years back in Bahrain when I was delivering a keynote. Sitting in the sun, we had a good conversation that moved in the direction of exponential transformation. I felt her eagerness and excitement to learn more. Sahar quickly completed the certifications. Later, we worked together on the Alex Sprint, where I discovered some of her qualities. Courage, her ability to figure out things by herself instead of asking, her entrepreneurial mindset became clear to me. Perfectionism, things are not immediately good enough. It always can be better. Curiosity, searching for new areas that are appealing to her education, and now setting up Women for Impact and seeing where the potential may lead to. And reliability, she does what she says and says what she does. Proud to have her in my network. And then next from Sanjay about Simon, just if there was to be a role model of a young exponential thinker that keeps pushing boundaries of what's possible, keeps learning, evolving, and improving, that is, in my mind, is Simon Knopp. He is a true product of grit, continuous learning, and experimentation. Mace says about Sahar, Sahar has always been someone I look up to. Her wit in dealing with challenges is a trait that inspires me personally. It is an absolute privilege to work with you, and I look forward to the positive impact that we make in the world. Fabian just said, Simon is a unique business model strategist. He combines knowledge and experience with warmth and empathy, attributes that are rare to find nowadays. He is a very enthusiastic innovator. He challenges the status quo and sparks change and action in organizations. I have collaborated with him in the creation of the EXO Prize and met him on his visit to Mexico, and am lucky to consider him my friend. Liesel says about Sahar, I was lucky enough to have Sahar as one of my team members on the OpenExO coaching certification course in 2019. Where I was immediately impressed with her. She is a humble, friendly, intelligent, and authentic person, and was unafraid to stretch our team and to challenge us. The most important thing I've learned from working with Sahar is to be humble and authentic in everything I do. And then Soledad said, Simon is passionate about positively impacting the world. I met him as a student in my class in 2018 and have followed his personal and professional growth since then. I am happy to share that anytime we talk, I learn from Simon. So these are some of the comments that were made about Sahar and Simon. So without further ado, let's bring Simon and Sahar to the screen. Sahar, Simon, welcome. How are you doing today, Sahar?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Kevin. It's evening time in Bahrain, and thank you for having me.
Great. And Simon, on your side?
Same. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward for the conversation, and yeah, I'm really excited to get all the statements to hear from the colleagues.
Great. Awesome. So we always start out the conversation just getting a bit more information about you, a little bit about your background and how you came to join the OpenExO community. So let's start with you, Sahar.
Well, Kevin, I think Paul pretty much summed up how I came to know about OpenExO. And basically, back in 2018, I was working as a founding member of a tech accelerator in Bahrain. And I was teaching part-time project management to corporations. And I realized this gap between corporates and startups and the intersection of social impact as well. And I kept on searching for a methodology. I kept on searching for a corporate innovation methodology. I couldn't find something until I came across the name of Paul Epping somewhere. And I sent him a message on LinkedIn without even meeting him. And coincidentally, he said, I'm going to be in Bahrain in 2 months. Let's meet up. We met up and we just constantly were talking about, and he said, what is it that you want to do? And I told him, this is the gap. This is what I see. And he said, okay, just 1 minute. Got me the book, the Exponential Transformation book, and he said, this is a methodology. And so I didn't even question, like the certification. I didn't even question like, the process, because this was like, when they say the universe conspires to bring whatever it is to you. And it was like exactly what I wanted. And so that's how I came. I joined the community when I think it was around 500 people back then. And so now it's about 6,000 people. And I met amazing people, including Simon and yourself, Kevin.
Awesome. Thanks, Sahar. And yourself, Simon, a bit of your background and how you joined the community.
Yeah, so it brings me back to my studies. Actually, I did my exchange semester in Spain, in Madrid, and there I signed up for the course Exponential Transformation, which was actually led by Soledad. Since then, I realized, wow, that's something totally different. I did in my current studies, and it's really something which is challenging the status quo. It's very futuristic. It's something practically you can actually implement, but it's also something which is state of the art, and it's not something which was done 20 years ago. And it was just something very new for me, and I basically immediately fall in love with the methodology and with the idea. And back then I signed up for the OpenExO community. And then basically the journey began. I met a lot of amazing people, and I did my certifications. And since then, I'm also on the way to do my part to transforming the world for a better future. And I think with the amazing community now, Sahar just mentioned it. I think it's even 7,000 people now already. So
Wow.
it's crazy. We really had like this exponential growth and all the team effort and the spirit which is there, and I'm just happy to be part of the community.
Absolutely. And Simon, I mean, you mentioned, our MTP is a community of transforming the world for a better future. So what would you say that better future actually looks like?
So for me, it's like my personal MTP, like my massive transformative purpose is enabling everyone to live a self-fulfilled life. And for me, it's something for a better future. Everybody can do what he or she likes to do, and everybody is able to have like a fulfilled life. And there's like a lot of circumstances, in my opinion, which need to be changed to enable that. And one big part is how we approach work, how the work environment is set up, and how we can actually bring in our own individuality, our own creativity, and our own personality at work.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of the big challenges I'm working on myself to make this happen, and that we all are being like more self-fulfilled in our life.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you could share your MTP and what do you think in your opinion, what do we need to do to get there and also to transform the world?
Well, yeah, I'm very similar to Simon. My MTP is creating a better future of work and education, and that is basically goes in line with having a self-fulfilled life and doing work that's actually meaningful and living a life that is actually meaningful. If you're spending 4 years in education and university, that's 4 years of your life that has to be leading to something better. The world is changing, we're evolving. We need to do things differently, that we're utilizing our time better. We're giving back to the world as well, living that kind of an ambitious life as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I can't chat with you two and not bring up Women for Impact. So, Women for Impact is an initiative that got off the ground essentially last year. But Sahar, if you can just share the purpose there and really like how people can get involved.
Yeah, sure, Kevin. Well, I know it was 2020 and July, I think, or August, we started to feel that this pandemic is going to take even longer than anticipated. Our lives are going to be shifted. Even on a professional level, personal level, I was seeing my projects being canceled, postponed, and then I thought, instead of being negative about it, I think there's so much that we can do. And especially that we are in a community of change makers and innovation experts, and I think we should utilize that. And so I thought, let's just chat about it and brainstorm and see what we can do about, this situation. And I know that we were talking about that with Simon yesterday, that the topic about gender and the topic about women is controversial in a way. But essentially and ultimately, what I was thinking about is that, we want to have a better society, whether it's women, it's youth, it's anyone. Everyone deserves to live a life that is, doing what they want to do, enjoying it, and getting paid for it, and to have prosperity as well. So this is the target was for it, is to create a better future of work for women. Given the situation, digitization is being accelerated, remote working is becoming the norm, where corporations were resisting that in the past. Now it's becoming the norm. So there's an opportunity to have more women in the workforce to improve the economy, and not just, that women are, I remember having this discussion that it's not about women empowerment. Women are empowered. It's just about creating economic prosperity through the enablement of women's participation in the economy. So that was the whole thing. It's led to a 5-day sprint where we said we're not going to lose anything if we do a 5-day sprint, and we learned a lot from it. I'm hearing an echo, so I'm not sure if that's from my side. So we learned from the sprint the challenges, the opportunities, and there were some amazing solutions. And so after that, we've created the report, and now we're running a cohort for the EXO consultant for women as well. So one thing led to the other, and Simon as well joined us. So it's a community of males and females.
Yeah, absolutely. Simon, I don't know if there's anything you want to share there. As you've said, Sahar, I mean, it can be quite controversial. And I've seen some people say, do women need to have something separate? They're amazing already. So Simon, I know this is something you're passionate about. I'm also passionate. I call myself an ally of Women for Impact. I don't believe I need to be an advisor. That you don't need advice. But I want to be an ally. I really think that I believe the future is female. I hope that's the way it goes. But Simon, what are your thoughts there, and why are you excited about the initiative?
So I think there's not a lot to add for the initiative. I just wanted to say that I think the important thing is that we all, men and women, start to talk about it, and not only talk about it, but come forward with actions. And I think that's something which is exciting for me, and what is always have been an important part for me, that I actually can be part of leading the transformation and can make even if it's like a tiny dent in the universe, but I can contribute to it. And as Sahar said, like, it's a very important topic in general. If it's like if you talk about inequalities, but also if you just talk about the economic situation. Even now, just like with COVID, I think we also found out, like in one of the sprints we ran, that especially for women, as they're taking more care with elderly people, with the family, it's also more difficult, for example, for them to fit everything together, right? And those are just challenges which we can work on and we can find solutions for. And that's really something, for me, Women for Impact is about. It's not just about talking and then stopping, but it's really about, okay, if you want to make a difference in that perspective or in that field, you get the support, and you can you have like a network of people who are supporting you there.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sahar, you mentioned briefly, the report. We have your website scrolling along the bottom. I know if you go to womenforimpact.net, click report, you can download that report. And Nikki on LinkedIn has said it's a must read. And thanks to the people who are watching, who have made some comments. You can put up any questions you want to ask Sahar or Simon. And Sebastian Samuel's just given a thumbs up here. Can you give a little bit of information about what's actually in the report? What's it about? What did you want to actually write that report for?
Well, there's so much information available for women in corporations, women at work, and what's, like the barriers, the glass ceiling, and that's valuable information. But when we were searching, we couldn't find something that's a kind of comprehensive, targeting how can we improve this challenge using technology and innovation. Basically using our experience and putting it all there in order to come up with solutions. And as Simon mentioned, in the sprint, we were talking about the different challenges. And for example, one of the challenges from Simon's team was that women are the main caregivers of elderly, for example, in some countries, and there's an aging population. So what kind of solutions? So in the report, we've tackled all of the most prominent challenges, along with the current solutions, and what are the pros and cons, and why are they not enough. And then in the recommendations, we've given recommendations for not only corporates, but also women in social innovation as well. So women making change. So there's not much access to funding for females. So we kind of put up the recommendations. And that goes in line with the future predictions, is that we're going to see more social impact entrepreneurs. And so we want to enable more women in that as well. So I'm trying to fill the gap in a way.
Awesome. That's really great to hear. And at the end of the day, information really is power, right? And being able to get that info to make decisions is really important. So massive kudos for that. For the Women for Impact initiative, what's exciting you most in 2021? I know there's a lot of experiments happening, but for both of you, what is going to be the most exciting thing to see?
Like for me, the most exciting thing to see is that the community is growing, and there's more people who are actually basically starting to become brand ambassadors, not for our brand, but for the topic. And I think, as that's going back, sorry for repeating myself, what I said earlier, but it's really about making it something which is not like a controversial or not non-talking topic at the table or something, but really something where we all can contribute, and where we see it like as an opportunity for business, but also for us to make society a better place. And I think in 2021 is like a great way where we can get closer to that point.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think what Simon mentioned is very true, Kevin, because we're realizing the power of abundance. And we're realizing that actually one of our participants is based in Argentina. I've never been to South America, but the amount of people I've come to know, she's very active. She's spreading the message. She's taking the certification. Other people are joining the community. Other people are hearing about Women for Impact. So we try to open source as much as we can and the sprint is open source anyway, but as much as we can, we try to share information so that people can go and run their own sprints. People can also monetize that for all the female consultants and coaches out there. So it's really the power of abundance that's very exciting at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I do like to ask people, it's sometimes quite a tough question, is about, you know, in your career so far, which is, you know, maybe longer or shorter between the two of you, but what would you say are some of the sort of failures or learnings that you've experienced? Because it's, you know, it's really easy to always speak about the successes, but actually I think we get most of our learning from when things haven't gone as planned or as we'd hoped. So I don't know if there's anything you'd like to share around that, around, you know, those things that didn't go to plan through your careers.
Sahar, should I start, or
yeah, you can start? You can start. Yeah.
So I think for me, first of all, I failed a lot of time. Like I failed to start my first startup. I didn't even make it to any funding round or something. It just didn't work out. Then I also failed to keep basically my my studies in place. So it actually took me 2 years longer than expected because of some circumstances. There's like a lot of things which are often going not as planned. The important thing is that you learn something out of it, and that you try it again and make it better. I think that's something. What is really a big learning from me. Failing is not the problem as long as you learn something out of it. And then I mean, there is like the famous saying, fail as often as you can and as fast as you can. And I think that's something which I really experienced in my life, which is very important. And the second thing, which is something I would just like give to everybody in the audience, is that in the beginning I was very shy to start my own thing, and you know, you are kind of like breaking out of the system a little bit, and you're scared of not making it work. But actually there's not a lot of things you will lose. You can build, like as Sahar said, like the Women for Impact initiative. It's not like you can start things without paying millions of euros for it. So it's just like, you know, get out there and get started. If you have something in mind, do it and learn from it.
Absolutely. Sahar, in your response, perhaps you can include, and maybe we can get back to you, Simon, too. What Sanjay has asked here is how has that failure assisted you? He also asked, to what extent have you experimented, and how is how important is experimentation? So perhaps in your answer there, Sahar, you could try and capture some of what Sanjay has also asked.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a nice question. I like talking about failures because, yeah, oftentimes we talk about the success when we don't talk about the failures. I failed so many times. I've been working for like 17 years now. So I'm a risk taker, so I take calculated risks. And with that comes a lot of failures. But as Simon said, you get back up again and you learn. So I think with failure, it's all about calculated risks. It's not like you're going to jump off of a cliff. You're just going to be, taking small steps, trying things differently in different ways. And I think the challenging thing for me was being a mother and working at the same time. And that's back in 2012, I was running a startup, being a mother to two very young children, and doing my MBA at the same time. So it was crazy, and a startup was a complete failure, a recruitment platform, and I didn't have passion for recruitment, but I came to know that I had a passion to solve unemployment, basically. So, but I learned a lot from it. No university, no education, nothing can teach you better than those failures. But yeah, I'm a risk taker, but I calculate my risks very well. So experimentation, what Sanjay was asking, yeah, it's essentially what we're doing right now as well with Women for Impact, but we're experimenting in small steps, and we iterate and we pivot, and I enjoy it, to be honest with you.
Awesome. Well, it's been such a pleasure chatting to the two of you. Time has flown by. Anything from each of you that you'd like to just leave with the audience who's watching, about the future, about how we can create that better future?
So for me, as I already said earlier, it's the question is not like that much about how we can actually do it, but it's just like start doing something. And it can be like a tiny piece, but don't think about, you don't have to solve the issue within a year, but think how, if it accumulates, what kind of impact it will have, like if it in 10 years or 20 years. And I think the important thing is just like to start doing it, and then to pivot and iterate. But for everybody who wants to make a positive impact in the world, just go for it.
Awesome. And Sahar, last words from you.
I think it's just to be optimistic about the future. I think we've had a very, very tough year, but I think as well to be optimistic and to look at the opportunities.
Awesome. Well, it's been great chatting to you. I know I'm going to be speaking to you within the community. Thank you very much for being here. And yeah, we'll chat to you again soon.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
Bye-bye. So that was Sahar and Simon, and speaking a bit about their Women for Impact initiative. Really great to be with you. Remember to join us next week, where we will be speaking to Eric Patel from Boston EXO. That's going to be great. And if you haven't joined the OpenExO community, or you don't know about it, you can just head over to openexo.com and come and join us. It's really been a privilege to chat to you today, and we'll see you again next week.